Long division. So use long division to simplify 8x to the fourth minus 14x cubed minus 25x squared plus 64x minus 26. And we're dividing that whole thing by another expression, 2x squared minus 5x plus 3. Remember, the expression in the numerator is called the dividend, and the expression we're dividing by, the one in the denominator, is called the divisor. And you can watch some other videos where I've done this before. What we're going to do is take the dividend and rewrite it inside like this, and then we have the divisor, and we write it out there. Okay, and we're always going to compare this to a problem we know how to do. Okay, so when we were working this problem with numbers, 3,984 divided by 5, you would say 5 times what gives me 3? There wasn't anything, then you'd go include one more digit. 5 times what gives me 39? Again, nothing. So you'd say 5 times what gives me a number close to 39 but smaller? Then you would use a 7. 7 times 5 is 35. And then you subtracted, and you brought down these digits as well. So we're going to do the same thing over here. 2x squared minus 5x plus 3 multiplied by what gives me this expression? That's a lot to think about. So we're going to just look at the first terms. 2x squared times what gives me 8x to the fourth? Okay, well, that's 4x squared. So 4x squared. And notice I'm lining it up above the x squared. And then notice in this example, with the numbers, we multiplied and put the answer underneath. So we're going to put the answer right here, but we're going to multiply. We have to be really careful, though. We're going to do 4x squared times the entire divisor. So we're distributing, right? So this is 8x to the fourth minus 20x cubed plus 12x squared. Because again, what I'm doing here, I'm not going to write this out every time. I'm taking this and multiplying by the first one, and multiplying by the second one, multiplying by the third one. So 4x squared is multiplied by every single term in that expression. So 8x to the fourth minus 20x cubed plus 12x squared. And then we come through, and over here we subtracted. So now we're going to subtract, but we have to be careful. What we're doing is this expression, and we're subtracting this expression. Okay, so let me do this on the side so you can see what we're doing. So when we do that, we're going to have 8x to the fourth minus 14x cubed minus 25x squared plus 64x minus 26. But we're subtracting that entire expression. So 8x to the fourth minus 20x cubed plus 12x squared. If you write it like that, you are only subtracting the term 8x to the fourth. We want to subtract the whole thing. So we have to use parentheses. So when you have a negative out front of parentheses right here, you would distribute it, right? But what happens when you multiply every term in that expression in those inner set of parentheses with a negative 1? What you're really doing is changing every sign, right? So that's what we're going to do. When we subtract, we're going to come by and change every sign. I'm going to do it in red. Change every sign. So then 8x to the fourth minus 8x to the fourth, those cancel. And then we have negative 14x cubed plus 20x cubed. Signs are different, so we're going to subtract. 20 minus 14 is 6, x cubed, and we keep the sign of the bigger one, so a plus. And then we have negative 25x squared and negative 12x squared. Signs are the same, so we use the same sign, and we combine the numbers. 37x squared. Okay, then over here, when you were working with numbers, then you brought down the other things, the 8 and the 4. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to bring down these terms. Plus 64x minus 26. I'm going to erase it. Let me do it again, right? 2x squared times what gives me 6x cubed? Well, that's going to be plus 3x. Then we take this 3x. We multiply by every single term in that expression. Okay? So 3x times 2x squared, that's 6x cubed. Then 3x times negative 5x is negative 15x squared. Then 3x times a positive 3 is plus 9x. And then we're going to subtract, which means we change every sign. 6x cubed cancel. Then we have negative 37x squared plus 15x squared. We are going to subtract and keep the sign of the bigger one, which is negative. So what's that? 22x squared. Then we have 64x minus 9x. We're going to subtract and keep the sign of the bigger one, which is a plus. 64 minus 9 is 55. So we have 55x minus 26. And we keep going, right? 2x squared times what gives me negative 22x squared? Negative 11. So then we take negative 11 times every single term here. So we get negative 22x squared plus 55x minus 33. And then we come through and we change every sign. So 22x squared, so now they have opposite sides, they cancel. Oh look, the 55x's cancel as well. So we have negative 26 plus 33. Signs are different, so we subtract and we keep the sign of the bigger one, which so the difference is 7. Okay? And obviously the degree of 7 doesn't have an x, so it's really like x to the 0. The degree is 0. That is smaller than the degree of this expression, 2x squared, so we're done. So then you might say, well, when you did this problem over here, let me go ahead and finish it. 5 times 9 is 45, then we subtract. 8 minus 5 is 3, so we get 34, then we do it again. 6 times 5 is 30, and then we get a 4. So you may have written remainder 4 the first time you did it, but later you learned we like fractions. Fractions are fun, right? So you could write this as 4/5. So we could write this as plus 7 over 2x squared minus 5x plus 3. Okay, so let's rewrite this. I'm going to scroll down just a bit. I'm going to write down the original problem. Okay, so that's the original problem. And it's going to be equal to everything I've written up here. Okay, this new part's going to be the quotient. 4x squared plus 3x minus 11. And then I'm going to take that remainder and put it over the divisor. This is one way to write the question we were given. But if I want to write this as an equation without any fractions, I can multiply through by the least common multiple of the denominators, which in this case is 2x squared minus 5x plus 6. So I'm going to show you that. Okay, so now all I've done is multiplied every single term by 2x squared minus 5x plus 6 over 1. When we do that, things cancel. Right, this denominator is the same as this numerator, gone. This denominator cancels with this numerator. So then we can rewrite an equation. We end up with that. So remember, this was called the dividend. We divided by 2x squared minus 5x plus 6. So remember, we called that the divisor. So new terminology right here, this is called the quotient. And then the plus 7 in our case is the remainder.